Welcome to the Sandwatch International Database. The database was developed by Dr. David Gray of Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada, and is upgraded regularly. The database is being maintained and coordinated by the Sandwatch Foundation. Support for hosting the database, training, and preparation of this video series was provided by UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Now this video is on Chapter 6 of the Sandwatch Manual, and it's on beach composition. Now, as usual, we'll log in as guest, which will allow us to view data but not change or edit anything. Once again, we're using Fiji, Long Bay Beach in Fiji as our test bed for this video series. So we go to Fiji, select beach, Long Bay Beach, and we'll click on the menu bar, and we're going to Beach Composition, Chapter 6. Now in this section, this is where you give a brief, a general description of the beach and what it's composed of. For example, in this section, Long Bay Beach, it says the beach is mainly composed of sand, a mixture of white, yellow and brown sand. At low tide, an extensive reef flat is exposed with many rocks and pools as well as sand. The barrier reef is about 500 meters from the beach. Of course, each beach is going to be different, so in this box is where you write the specifics of your beach. Also down here, once again, you can add photographs of your beach. Again, they have to be less than 1 megabyte in size to be accepted into the database. Here's a sketch map showing the different types of sediment on the beach, whether there is a significant feature such as a river or stream which may be bringing sediment to the beach from inland. Your sketch map should also show where you have collected your sediment samples. For example, here in sample 1 was collected near the reef flat. Sample 2 was on the middle of the beach, between the high and low water mark, and sample 3 by the vegetation by the sand dunes at the back of the beach. Now if we go here, B, sediment characteristics, this takes us to a page where we can record the detailed characteristics of the sediment. This relates to activity 6.4 in the manual. In this page we can enter the characteristics, the data for the sediment samples collected along your beach. So for example, we have three places on the beach where we collected the samples. So we select the first part, the first sample bit. This is the date that the sample was collected, the color of the sand, brown to yellow to white, and the origin, it was by the reef. There's a description of the sand, the size of the average size of the sand grains in millimeters, and whether they were angular or subangular or smooth or what have you. As you can see here, they've collected from that sample 1 was collected from the same spot on 2 different dates. And you would do this to see if the composition of your beach is changing over time. A magnifying glass or even a microscope, if one is available, is an excellent tool to have to describe the sand and see what the beach composition is actually made of. Is it shells or rocks or minerals or that sort of information. Then using the charts provided on page 50 of the manual, we can record the sediment size in millimeters, whether it is well sorted or poorly sorted, and if the sediment grains are rounded, angular or pointed. Then we can view the graphs. Firstly, we can see the graph for sediment size, and we can see the sediment size was larger in the second measurement. Perhaps a storm carried larger sediments onto the beach, or perhaps heavy rains washed sand down from the hills. Then we can see the graph for sorting and see that there was no change. Sorry, this is the size, the graph for size. We click on graph for sorting and then view it. You can see that there was no change in the sample size of the grains. And we can also do the same for shape. Did the shape of the sand grains change? Quite very slightly. As with the other measurements and graphs all through the database, they can be saved and exported to your desktop or a file for use in publications, documents, science fair projects, and the like. Finally, we can actually add photographs of the sediment characteristics. So, as you can see here, this is fine sand collected from a sand dune behind the beach. This would be coarser sand, where the marine sand and the terrestrial sand meets. And then some coarse sand, maybe fresh sand is coming off the reef. If you have some microscopes, you can take photographs or of the actual sand grains themselves to see the specific composition. And again, this is where they would be posted. Just remember to keep all photographs less than 1 megabyte. And remember to save all changes whenever you enter or change data. That brings us to the end of Chapter 6, Sediment Characteristics.